Hey, skipping straight past an intro here, I'll be honest, I think I've seen one clip from this game a few years ago. Outside of that, I've never really had the chance to play it until now, and well, it's an incredibly unique experience. I don't think there is or will ever be another game like it, so before I go further into this review, it's worth running through some context behind the game in case this is the first time you're learning about the game. There are two games, the Stanley Parable and the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Yes, they're separate games on Steam, so I need to clarify which one I played. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe released back in 2022 on pretty much all platforms, with the original Stanley Parable releasing back in 2013 on PC. By the way, you should subscribe if you haven't already. Stanley would appreciate it, and I think the Bucket would as well. How can I even talk about the story here? Is there even a story? It's more of an experience of trying and trying again until you've exhausted all options, listened to the narrator talk his last sentence, explored every inch of every room, refused to follow the directions the narrator sets out for you, and question everything you thought you knew. It keeps things so engaging, wacky, but not silly enough to where you get fed up with it. I think that's why it stands out so well. The developers knew that a story wouldn't be a simple thing, so why try to confine it at all? It's so open and every route has its implications, and at the end of the day, you find yourself at your desk trying to figure out where your colleagues have gone. I have to get it out of the way. My favourite part of the Ultra Deluxe content was the narrator essentially crashing out over negative Steam reviews over the extent of the dialogue, resulting in him creating a skip button that you can abuse for a while. That was really fun. The bulk of the game is so fun. Stanley had fun, maybe the Bucket had fun as well. The Ultra Deluxe content is quite enjoyable, especially exploring everything around you for the first time, and it has its own added incentive. I'm looking straight at the figurines here. I never thought I'd end up collecting 26 out of 6 figurines. I won't elaborate on the math here, and neither will the game. It makes sense. It also recognizes greatness. I'll show you what I mean. Ooh, sequels. Portal 2, Half-Life 2, Doom 2. Dark Souls 2? Oh my god. Wow, this game is peak. It knows peak. It is peak. So, considering it recognizes the excellence of Dark Souls 2, you would assume that it obviously took inspiration from its gameplay. And yes, it does. There is a lot of walking, so I guess in that sense, they're both alike. I saw there was also a toggle walk button, so you can just have a fun time just interacting with the game and let Stanley walk while you take a little break. I can't even say that there are any mechanics involved in this game. The entire gameplay experience is just what you want it to be. It revolves around your journey as Stanley, along with the narrator, moving around rooms, slowly losing your grip on reality. It's worth it. It absolutely is. The environmental design is also quite interesting. It's simple, and I think that's why it works so well, or at least it's simple until it gets to the Ultra Deluxe content. I think from there, as it becomes more expansive, it allows the environment to do a bit more of the storytelling, with some of the environments actually being really nice, especially some of the parts of the epilogue. And I think the art design works quite neatly with the environmental design. It's simple. It doesn't need to be elaborate because that's not really the focus of the game. There are some fun designs, and there are some things that I really appreciated, especially this low resolution video. I found it to be very funny. Like, it has its moments of switching the experience up so drastically, and I think that's what makes it so great. The audio design is good. I think the bulk of the focus for the audio design and mixing went into the narrator, because given they're such a large component of the game, if it was harsh sounding and difficult to listen to, it would have negatively impacted the experience, but thankfully that's not an issue. The voice acting is fantastic. I had no issues with it, which in turn made the overall experience of the game that much more smooth and enjoyable. Credit to the voice actor for an incredible performance here. They're expressive and it really helps push parts of the game to a new level. There was a bit of customization, but not in the way you're expecting. Given the game is never straightforward, there are some choices that can affect your experience. Upon restarting the game will ask you some questions, and depending on what you do will influence the following restart. I thought that was really cool, engaging the player before the game even began. I should also mention that there is some customization in game as well, at least visually. The choices you make can impact the world design, which I thought was quite a nice touch, and this applies to the Bucket as well. So what do I think of some of the better parts of the game? I mean, I could make an entire video on the importance of the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket, which has its own funny backstory. I thought the bond between the narrator and Stanley was neat, and seeing point as the game evolves alongside this was a really neat touch. I think if you're actually trying to look at it from a narrative perspective, then it's also okay. Incredibly intriguing to even think about wrapping your head around it, but as I've said throughout, that's what this game excels at. The only bad thing I experienced was that sometimes it stuttered. That's it. It's not a graphically demanding game, so I don't understand why it stuttered, but yeah, that's pretty much the only downside to my experience, although I did see online after completing the game that some other people also had slight performance issues as well, as you can also see here.
Progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Yeah, no, I'm listening. I hear it all. I very much hear it all. What is up with the bucket? What? Very weird shadows here. Part 2 is in. Interesting. Oh, that's so cool. The cool red section of the chart. Awesome. I think this game is fantastic. I know for a fact that there's still quite a bit that I haven't discovered yet, and I very much plan to find those missing endings, but from what I've explored and experienced so far, I'd be stupid not to recommend playing this game. There is so much charm and attention to detail with this game, along with the game being quite comedic and adaptive. It doesn't really try to do anything it doesn't need to, and for that I think it just helps the game to be a much smoother and enjoyable experience. The playtime is entirely for you to determine. It's not a straightforward play until you get to the end type of game, although there is an epilogue, so I decided that would be the point where I'd start my editing process. In the base experience alone, there are 19 endings, and with the inclusion of the Ultra Deluxe edition, there were 27 endings, so 46 different endings to find. See what I mean when I say the game ends when you want it to end. While there are a few performance issues and some partially drawn out sequences, it's hard to not recommend playing this game. The game's unmatched ability to be so self-aware and exhaust every possibility of it becoming awkward and looping back around to being fun and engaging is so different from anything I have ever experienced and probably will. I mean, there are also some incredibly interesting achievements for this game as well, one being playing the game for the entire duration of a Tuesday or not playing the game for 10 years. I wish I was joking, that's an actual achievement. And with that, I think I can comfortably bring this video to a close. I've thoroughly enjoyed this experience. This game is one that will stand the test of time. I think what it does is excellent and can't be replicated. Thank you for sticking with me on this one, I appreciate it. Consider liking the video if you want, it'll help me out, but all the same, just making it this far is more than enough for me. I hope you've all enjoyed this video and I'll see you again soon.